is enough said.
Happy Monday, Heat Nation! Your boy Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video. My God, I love saying that, you guys. It's Monday, we're alive, we're healthy. Let's stay positive, let's grind together. Don't forget to support the channel, you guys. Like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate you guys' support. Now, look, I know I got a Shawn Michaels wrestling t-shirt on. I know it's a Miami Heat channel, but come on, y'all know your boy's a pro wrestler, so I like to show some stuff from time to time. Now, off we go on another Miami Heat Talk adventure. But before we do, you guys, not sure if you saw it, but posted some shorts earlier today. This past weekend, I had the pleasure of getting into the ring with Big AJ, the Costco guy. Had a lot of fun. It was a badass match. Posted some shorts on it so you guys can check it out. But I want to talk about the Miami Heat, you guys, because there was a post that came out today from the Miami Herald with Anthony Chang, and I want to talk about it, you guys. Wrote some really interesting stuff that was said by Anthony Chang, but some stuff that was also said by Bernie Lee. This is regarding Jimmy Butler's contract extension. For those of you that don't know, Bernie Lee is Jimmy Butler's agent. So, we all know this whole thing that's been going on with Jimmy Butler's extension. I don't need to repeat it. Y'all know what's up. But Jimmy Butler wasn't given the extension. Pat Riley said in the offseason, when the season ended, after the Miami Heat were bounced in the first round, that he just needs to be more available. You know, Jimmy Butler doesn't need to be talking about teams that he's not playing against when he's not in the playoffs. Keep your mouth shut. Move forward. We know that there's been a disdain a little bit between Jimmy Butler's camp and Pat Riley. Apparently, Bernie Lee, who's Jimmy Butler's agent, was shocked and surprised when the Miami Heat did not want to offer the 2-year maximum contract extension. I understand both sides. At the end of the day, I mean, we've talked about it before, you guys, but let's be real. Let's kind of dive into this again. I completely understand both sides. I get Jimmy Butler's side. Jimmy Butler was traded here in 2019. Nobody thought that this Miami Heat team would go to the NBA Finals. Jimmy took them to 2 NBA Finals. Excuse me. He's also taken them to 3 Eastern Conference Finals as well. He has overexceeded the expectations for the Miami Heat during the Jimmy Butler era. So I'm sure Jimmy Butler's camp feels like they deserve the extension. On the Miami Heat side, they're seeing a player who just turned 35 years old, who does have 2 years left on his contract. Next year being a player option. So if you're giving Jimmy Butler a contract extension, you are putting yourself in the same situation that you did with Kyle Lowry recently. Now, I understand Jimmy Butler's a completely different player than Kyle Lowry, but guys, athletes, NFL, NBA, major sports, once you hit over 35, it's different. You know, you're not the same level as your prime. Now, unless you're LeBron James or Kevin Durant and Jimmy Butler even. Jimmy Butler keeps himself in incredible shape. But at the end of the day, I understand Pat Riley and the Miami Heat's perspective. Is that if they're going to give a guy a maximum contract worth about $50 million per year moving forward, and this guy can't even crack 60 games in the regular season, what are we doing here? So I want to read this quote that was put in first by Anthony Chang. And I quote, "The expectation at this point is that Jimmy Butler will pass on the contract extension, even if the Miami Heat offers it. According to sources, and then he will then opt out of his contract to become a free agent. He's going to have the ability to opt and where go. Wow, that was written very weird. Anyways, Pat Riley said he's going to have the ability to opt and go wherever he wants the ability to extend. A small group of reporters, when asked about Butler's contract to Pat Riley stated this: "So I'm trying to get all that thinking out of our heads because it's living in the present moment and playing basketball. So if there's something that's going to drag me down or him down because of that, then we're not going to perform at a certain level." End quote. Oh, excuse me. He did mention after that, but I think he's embraced exactly where he's at. I think he understands where we're at. End quote there. And that is the best answer. And honestly, I don't think that's just sugarcoating it. I think that's exactly the way both parties think. I think what I just explained right now, both parties are in an understanding level. I think Jimmy Butler and Pat Riley, who have had conversations about this, I'm sure they're in an agreement. Look, we want to give you this extension, but we want to see how you perform this year. Jimmy Butler's saying, I want my money, but I understand how you guys are seeing it. You guys have taken care of me over the last 6 years. You've given me everything I want. I understand your situation. So we'll figure it out. I think both parties are being adults, which is great because that's not something you see a lot these days. You're always seeing a perpetual child, usually one side, whether it's the player or whether it's the team. I think the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler are handling this amazing. I think the Miami Heat learned their lesson with Dwayne Wade, with that whole situation that happened 8 years ago, but they've also learned from the Kyle Lowry situation that the fact that they can't just throw money away at somebody who's getting older. And like I said, Jimmy Butler, I'm sure he looks at that. He probably puts himself in their shoes and they understands that. I know Jimmy Butler's a player that thinks, I want my money. But at the end of the day, it's got to be good with both sides. Now, I'm going to read something that Bernie Lee said, because this is another perspective. This is Jimmy Butler's camp. Jimmy went away this summer and prepared himself for the task at hand. I think we all see that. Speculating on what's next is irrelevant and disrespectful to the moment and this group. One of the major things I've noticed with Jimmy that has been a foundation of his success and has been the creation of process and routine. He's locked into the process and routine and ready to attack this season with the group around him. I think Jimmy showed through the preseason what his approach to this year is going to be. He's done the work and now it's time to put that work into action. It's been well documented by Jimmy that he doesn't care about the auxiliary things that come with the long and successful career that he's had, but I do. End quote. So that's Bernie Lee basically saying that he's looking out for Jimmy Butler so he can get paid. But in reality, the more Jimmy gets paid, the more Bernie Lee gets paid. He's his agent. So, what does this tell me? This tells me that the 2025 Miami Heat are going to be a problem. Didn't want to use vulgar language there. But we're going to be a bleeping problem. Because you have a Jimmy Butler who is playing extra motivated. And guys, I get it. I get it. This is incredibly frustrating. Having a player who's in the middle of a maximum contract doesn't give maximum effort during the season, because this is something we've been saying now the last 2 years. You love Jimmy in the playoffs. You love Jimmy. Hell, I love Jimmy Butler. I love his attitude. I love the way he carries himself. I think he's a match made in heaven with the Miami Heat. But for the last 2 years in the regular season, Heat fans have been kind of pissed because of what he's brought in through to the regular season. But this year, you guys, and this is something we know in sports, when a player's in a contract year, they're going to go balls to the walls. Jimmy Butler played in 4 preseason games. He even played the second night of a back-to-back in a preseason game. So this is an incredible thing that we've seen Jimmy Butler do. But the question is it going to translate towards the regular season? How many games is Jimmy Butler going to play? Excuse me. So this is going to be a really interesting thing that we're going to see moving forward. My opinion and my perspective with this, you guys, it's like I just said, the Heat are going to be a problem because it's not just Jimmy Butler you have to deal with. You also have to deal with a Bam Adebayo who's gotten increasingly better. You also have a Terry Rozier who has an incredible chip on his shoulder because of his injury last year. You also have Tyler Hero who has an incredible chip on his shoulder because of his injuries last season and the way that the Boston Celtics dogged him out in the playoffs. You also have Jaime Jaquez and Nikola Jovic ready to take that extra step. You got Kevin Love back with his veteran presence. You got Duncan Robinson looking like that back injury is something of the past. You signed Alec Burks. Alec Burks is going to give you an incredible showing when players are injured. Josh Richardson is back. You also have a lot of these young pieces. Our draft picks, Khalil Ware, Pele Larson. You also got these dogs in a 2-way contract with Drew Smith, Josh Christopher, and oh my God, I'm brain fired. Kashad Johnson. Sorry, you guys. You got Thomas Bryant waiting in the wings. You have one hell of a deep roster. This Miami Heat team that's been put together this year, in my opinion, is probably one of the very best teams on paper in this Jimmy Butler era. I expect Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, and Terry Rozier to lead this team. You have 4 guys right there that any given night, any of them can give you 20 to 30 points. You even have players on this roster that can do the same thing. So I am very excited, you guys, because on Wednesday, the season begins. On Wednesday, we battle the Orlando Magic, who just gave Jalen Suggs a monster contract extension. So I am excited. I am frothing from the mouth to see how this Miami Heat team is going to do this season. I think that we can compete with the best of them. I think we can have a top 4 seed. The main goal this year, you guys, and I don't want to sound like mid as hell, just get the hell out of the play-in. Get out of the play-in. That's the main thing. The main goal is to get the hell out of the play-in this year. I want top 4. I think this Miami Heat team can easily be a top 4 seeded team. I think this team is going to surprise the NBA like they did in 2022. I'm hella excited. I know and I believe in this roster, but I want to hear from y'all, Heat Nation. What do you think about the remarks with Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler? Do you think that these two parties are connected and they're in the same page? Or do you think all of this means that Jimmy Butler's most likely going to leave the Heat after this year? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. We're pushing for 5,000 subscribers. We are almost there. Remember, guys, you got 2 days. Get me to 5,000 subscribers. I'll do a $50 giveaway. Appreciate the love and support. Until next time, your boy Ernest out. And that is enough said. I'm just a sexy boy.